Hi, in this video we are going to see about the software performance optimization. So from the word software performance optimization, we are going to reduce something. So what we are going to reduce in your software? So main thing of a embedded system is to be very smart performance. Smart performance means you have to reduce the execution time. So how to reduce this execution time is the execution time depends on two things. One is the software, other thing is the hardware. If ever you use a very good hardware also, the software also must run in an effective manner with a lesser number of code. So how to execute a program or how to program is a application with less number of code. That is a good embedded engineer. So we will see about software performance optimization. Under the software performance optimization, we are going to deal about loop optimization, cache optimization, and performance optimization strategies. So first, why loop optimization? So while loop optimization is, if you take our main program, the most of the time is spent in loops. For example, normally we used to do embedded as an infinite programming. All the embedded programs we write in an infinite loop under a while loop. Okay. After that, for a single delay, we go for a repeated execution of some code for loops. For example, we want to add a number for 10 times, 25 times, or repeated operations, we go for a loop. So, what are the main things to be considered in the loop? If you reduce some or 1 second in a loop or 1 millisecond inside a loop, then if the loop is executing for 10 times, then 10 milliseconds will be saved for us. Okay, so each and every, even a single instruction or single machine cycle is reduced inside a loop, we will save lot of time. So a loop is a very important strategy and spending lot of time in execution of loop, so we can reduce the loop timing. So we have three techniques to reduce the loop timing: code motion, index variable elimination, and strength reduction. So what is code motion? So code motion means the unnecessary code is removed out of the loop. How to find this unnecessary code? And who will find this unnecessary code? And how can we find this unnecessary code? So main thing, when the programmer write a program, he thinks that this line is very important and this line will come inside the loop. But someone must examine that program and find that this line is not needed inside the loop. So that is what is the optimization process. So thinking out of box from the programmer's view. So that is someone else can think. Okay. So what is the main result is we have to think whether the time is reduced, size of the program is reduced without affecting the result of the loop. So only when we can remove the line from the loop is if that instruction doesn't affect the loop output, if it is performed outside the loop also. Okay. We can explain this code motion with an example. We will take an example of a for loop for repeated for n into m times and z is equal to a plus b. We normally write the program like this. What is the error in this program? Or not a error. How to reduce the execution of this program? Okay, so we will, it is little tough to find seeing the program. So we'll go for analyzing using control flow graph. So you are very familiar with the control flow graph and this is the control flow graph for the program. Okay, so we have an analysis of n into m. I is less than or equal to n into m, then we execute it. If it is false, it will go to the other instruction. Now see here, n into m will be also repeated how much times? It will be also repeated n into m minus 1 times it will be repeated. So if you compute this n into m previously as a temporary variable and if you compare with the temporary variable, then this multiplication no need to be performed for n into m minus 1 time. So we can save n into m minus 1 time by replacing n into m by a temporary variable. So here we can see the same control flow graph by replacing n into m by a temporary variable. So see here the result is not affected, but execution time is reduced for n into m minus 1 time, since n into m is executed only one time. So what is induction variable elimination? So induction variable elimination means variable whose value is derived from the loop iteration value. So how to derive a value from the loop iteration? It's normally called as loop index. So it is performed by the compiler. Now often the compiler uses the induction variable when it decrypts the code. Okay, the compiler uses the induction variable to address the array. And we can see how we can interfere inside the compiler code and do the elimination. Again, we'll see an example, a for loop, a nested for loop with a transfer instruction from Z to B as a two-dimensional array. What will compiler do is, compiler will use an induction variable Z B induction variable I into m plus j. Since it will be repeated n and m months, it will be repeated by I into m plus j times. Okay. We are using an induction variable plus a pointer. Pointer will give the address location of Z induction variable. That will be replaced to the address location of B pointer plus induction variable. Okay. This is the code written by the compiler. What changes we can do here is, here again we have a multiplication I into m plus j. This can be avoided by initializing the induction variable outside the loop, and if you increment the induction variable. Actually multiplication and increment is different. Okay, if you multiply it will take 2 extra cycles, since it has to save them in an address accumulator and retrievably save in the memory register. So two process loading and storing, two process happens and 2 extra machine cycle will happen in a multiplication operation. Now we are reducing the multiplication operation using increment operation. So at that time what will happen is 2 to 3 mission cycle will be saved. So this is the process of reducing the execution time using induction variable, and it is done by changing in the compiler code. Okay. Next is the strength reduction. What is strength reduction is, as I told, again we are going only with the multiplication operation. So to reduce the cost of the loop iteration, for example, we have a command y is equal to x into 2. Now, x into 2 is a multiplication operation, but same multiplication can be done using left shift operator also. When you do this operation, y is equal to x y is equal to x into 2, we will have to save x in the accumulator. After that, accumulator has to be multiplied with 2. B has to be retrieved, the B register has to be saved with the 2. After that multiplication, then we have to transfer from accumulator to Y. Almost we have to do minimum 4 machine cycle. Okay. Now, instead of this multiplication operation, if we go for a left shift, what will happen? The same register, when I use left shift, 2 bit will be shifted here. Only 1 machine cycle will be taken. So it is, we are reducing 3 machine cycle. So wherever we can use bit oriented operations, left shift, right shift, at that time the execution time will be reduced. So this comes under the programmer's efficiency or understanding about writing the code and how to reduce the execution time. After writing the program, a team must check whether this multiplication command can be replaced by a shift operator. Okay, so y is equal to x into 2. Multiplication is replaced by a left shift. Okay, so as I told, shifting is faster than multiplication. Next, very important, next topic is after loop optimization, next is cache optimization. So as you know, what is cache memory? It's a temporary memory and it's a very fast access memory. So whenever you execute a loop, what will happen? The set of loop instruction will be there in the cache. So the processing an array is very easy. But what is the thing is, some variable may not be accessed in an array or in the cache, but some variable will be frequently accessed. So when you write the loop next, we can write the program or we can rewrite the program in the cache accessed, recently accessed way, so that we can reduce the execution time. So it will also improve the cache performance, and best loop next is no condition will be there in the nested loop, and large number of datas and cache conflict will be there in the execution of loop. This we can see as an example, data realignment and array padding. Example I have given, same for loop, nested for loop. Here from A array is equal to B into C. C is a constant. Okay. So for this execution, we will take an assumption that M is 262, M value is 262, N value is 4, and 256 lines of execution is there. 4-way associated cache with 4 words per line. So we can see here 4 words per line. Here we have 4 words per line. Okay, 4-way cache. Okay. Now let in A 0, 0. In this array location, we have the value 1024. In the B array location 0, 0, we have 4099. So when you write A is equal to B into C, we are going to access these two. If these two has only 4 it is in the same line, then we will have cache conflict. Okay. To avoid this cache conflict, we can go for padding. Okay. So one way to reduce this cache conflict is padding. Other way is to move one array. Next is performance optimization strategy. We are seeing with the 3 strategies. One is profiling. Profiling is to find the hotspot. How to find the hotspot and what is the hotspot? So hotspot is normally before one way is we are dealing with the execution time. Other way is instead of finding the execution time, we can find how much times the single line is executed in the program. If a line is executed multiple times, then we can see whether that line can be reduced or simplified so that we can reduce the execution time. So rather than analyzing the execution time, we are analyzing the number of times a single instruction is executed. Okay, and we are not going to measure with the execution time. So after seeing this, how to analyze how number of times the execution. So we are using a local increment operation after the execution of each and every statement. So this is a little complex task, but it will be very good in the reducing the execution time. Okay, that is one thing. Second process is to add a program counter and keep track on the distribution of the program counter, and by that also we can see how much time a single instruction is executed. Okay. Next is redesign the algorithm. We can go normal algorithm can be redesigned to improve the efficiency and asymptotic performance, examine the asymptotic performance, and even brute force will give a better implementation. Next is dynamic allocation of memory. Normally we know static memory allocation. So static memory allocation, we have a predefined memory location for each and everything. So in case of predefined memory location, some locations will be unused most of the time. Some location will be frequently used. So when you go for dynamic allocation memory, only a little part of the memory will be frequently used and that data will be there in the cache. So managing the heap taking time, but the programmers cannot understand this. Okay, so this is one thing. The next thing is performance optimization hit. So there are major pointers using the registers efficiently, nesting to use the page mode memory access to reduce the cache conflict. Okay. Next things, analyzing the cache behavior by rewriting the code, rescheduling the code. Next is conflict scalar data can be easily be removed and conflict array data can be moved and padded. And these are the ways to reduce the software performance optimization. So we will go through the video once again. So that is what are the recaps. We have recap about the software performance optimization. We have seen loop optimization under that code motion, index variable elimination, strength reduction, cache optimization with an example,